Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be showcasing how Silent Hill F runs on the Steam Deck. Pretty much, it runs really well. If you lock it at around like 40 FPS, that's what it's going to keep. But of course, it can have some drops down in the lower 30s, even like mid 20s. But it happens like not that often, and it just like for maybe 1 second. And plus, this is the type of game that is kind of slow paced. It's not really like heavy action, and you don't get swarmed up, with a ton of enemies, so you won't really notice it that bad. I mean, it could be better if you can play this on, PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. Do it there. But the whole point is just to show that Silent Hill F runs pretty well on the Steam Deck, and I'm surprised considering this is, Unreal Engine 5 game, and most of them ran like crap on the deck. So let me show you my settings, which will get you, like I said, locked 40 FPS with some frame drops depending on the scene. Obviously, you keep the game at 800p. Most of the stuff is going to be medium, so lumen lighting is going to be high. Use screen space reflection. Like I said, only texture quality I put on high, and I believe I also put the view distance on high. And then the rest, this can be put performance or balance, up to you, but that's about it. This is like what the game runs with these settings, and it's a pretty good experience. Of course, can be better, but beggars can be choosers, right? So overall, I played about a little bit over 2 hours of this game. So far, I like it a lot. I'll be honest, at the moment, there's not that much that like kind of makes me feel like this is a Silent Hill game, and maybe it's also worse because recently I replayed Fatal Frame 2 on a PS2 emulator, and then it kind of has the same setting. I mean, it's like old school Japan, a village, Japanese village, empty pretty much, only with like of course some monsters or ghosts or whatever. So I don't know, it kind of like reminds me more of like the Fatal Frame series, or let's say the Siren one that was I think on PlayStation 3, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, we'll see how the game goes. I do hope that by the end it does have some sort of connection. It kind of makes like a lore explanation of why actually this is called Silent Hill, or also why do we have the F in the name. I'm also curious about that. I'm really avoiding any reviews or any sort of spoilers. I just want to play this on my own, at my own pace, and then check it out. But yeah, the game is fun. It's not difficult. Well, I mean, just you got to get used to the controls. It's a little bit more combat focused, but it's not that different from the older Silent Hill games. Besides the fact that I assume here we're not gonna get any firearms, right? I think it's only gonna be like knives, katanas, or whatever. Maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah, you can lock on to enemies and then just like bash them. This time your weapons can degrade and break, so you will get like a toolkit to fix that. So that's like another thing you kind of have to watch out for. And I think the biggest thing they added here, or the newest one for the series, is I mean, besides the stamina bar, which we'll talk about later, um, it's like you have a faith system. Pretty much, the more stuff you deal with, you kind of go crazy. Like your sanity meter, right, goes up. So you have to kind of regulate that as well. And then you do that by praying at shrines and making offerings. Um, like I said, I haven't experienced too much of the game, so I'm not really sure what happens if you go past that um, sanity level. I'm assuming it could be game over, or maybe you're going to be losing health really fast, or something like that. Maybe you have difficulty in controlling your character. But yeah, it's creepy. Um, the game is slower paced as usual. The enemies so far I've only seen two different kinds. They're kind of easy to avoid, and at least like from what I've played so far, even the game tells you like you can literally run away from enemies and they will just later ignore you. Kind of like in all Silent Hill games, except in the older ones, there were definitely sections where you had to deal, with the enemies. You couldn't just like leave them behind. But we'll see how that goes in this game. So the biggest thing that they added was the stamina meter. And right off the bat, just to tell you guys, even though there's been lots of talk, on forums and all that stuff, oh my God, it's going to turn into another Souls-like. By the way, I really dislike Souls-like games. It's just not for me. I'm not a masochist, but here, Silent Hill F has nothing to do with Souls-like. So, like I said, they added some stamina meter, and you can focus on your enemies and dodge, and that's about it. So, yeah, the stamina affects because, for example, you cannot really stab anymore once the stamina meter runs out. But since we're dealing here with, slower enemies, you can just kind of like walk back a little bit. It fills up pretty fast, and then you're good to go again. Performance-wise, like I said, 40 FPS is pretty consistent, but it does have so-so frame drops. Usually when like a brand new enemy, gets introduced, or what I notice the most, it happens when you're like running. So maybe as the whole world is rendering, you might get a drop here and there, but it's not really that bad. Graphically, I think the game looks great, especially on the small screen if you're playing this on handheld. The only thing that you can kind of notice, and I'm pretty sure you've already seen in the video, like the hair, there's lots of shimmering around the hair and as well as in the shadows. That kind of also happened with Stellar Blade. But overall, it's like a very detailed game. Like I said, for this, considering this is Unreal Engine 5 and then it's running this well on the deck, this is great. I'm not the guy that, wants to play games but then has to put everything on low just to make them playable on the deck. Like if that's the case, I'm just gonna, avoid playing that game or just play it on somewhere else. But this game, you can get a really nice visual fidelity and performance. So if you do not have anything else to play on, this is a good alternative, right? That's it from me. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, or you want to see any other games playing on the Steam Deck, let me know. Just enjoy the rest of the gameplay, and like I said, feel free to get this game. It's worth it. I'm not really sure what's the total runtime, like how long the game is. But so far it's quite intriguing and I like it. And like I said, I hope it does connect to the actual Silent Hill lore, because right now it feels a little bit like, it could have been just another IP named something else. But let's see how this goes. Anyway, till next time, guys.
hope Shu and Rinko are alright. Rinko!
God damn you!
Shu, where are you?